Welcome back to the Door Kickers player channel. This is mission 17, Private Slaughter. Now, disclaimer before we start, I'm not a professional in CQB, tactics, or anything like that. Take everything I say with a grain of salt. Don't trust it. Verify for yourself. At the end of the day, I'm just playing a game in my free time and thought, why not try to monetize it? So here we are. That being said, let's get into it. So this is mission 17, Private Slaughter. Now, as you can see, we have a whole outside area and then we have an interior. Um, so this one was actually very tricky. I went through a bunch of times, tried to play that. I have started recording all of my attempts, and I swear to God, yesterday I had this one. Um, yeah, I spent an hour and a half trying to win this game, this mission. Not this one, but the one that I was playing yesterday. I couldn't. I came back today, finished it, um, but I spent an hour and a half, and I was like, you know what? It's too much. I gotta get off the game. I got stuff to do. So, yeah, I'll put that on when I upload that mission. Um, but yeah, it these missions get kind of difficult, especially because of the dynamics of the gameplay. One of the interesting parts about this game is that you kind of have to be pausing every split second sometimes because you have to make the decisions that an operator would make. The operators don't make those decisions on their own in the game. So you have to pause. Oh, I have to pause a lot. And I'm pausing like pause play, pause play, pause play, pause play, like that. And it's like because otherwise it just doesn't work. And so this was one of those missions where it took a lot of work to get it right. And this is just a replay. So we start off here and we're outside in the corners. And I don't know if you saw that, but we actually switched to silenced pistols. And even though we switched to silenced pistols, it still got the attention of the tangos inside. Now we're going to pause right here because there was a bunch of things that happened before we can even move to the interior of the building. So you can see that there was a bunch going um, on the exterior, and we didn't even have a chance to clear every single corner. Um, and we're on a time limit because in order to get the 3 stars in the game, you need to do it in a certain amount of time. So switching to silenced weapons, although it did take time, it did give us a little bit of the element of surprise when moving towards the interior of the building. And this is one of the things that I was talking about in terms of having to make those split second decisions, is because every time the game every time you restart a level because you failed, the game will change the dynamics of where the tangos are. And it'll change it every single time. So you don't have like a clear like where people are. um, it can also sometimes change where the hostages are, and this is a hostage rescue mission. You can tell because there's a rescue zone, um, and so that's how you tell from that frame, from the first frame, is if there's a rescue zone, there are hostages, and because there's at least one hostage in this mission. I went to silenced weapons or silenced pistols uh, because I kind of wanted to get as much of the element of surprise as I could. Now, when we ended up breaching the exterior area, there were a bunch of tangos there, and they ended up pulling their weapons and shooting at my guys, which alerted the tangos on the interior of the building. And because of that, my guys ended up being in quite a pickle, as you'll see here in a minute, where one of my guys got injured and because he was reloading his pistol. Now, at this point in the gameplay, sort of at this point of the missions that I'm up to, I already had equipped the HK-45 SD pistol and the M4 carbine as the primary rifle. Um, all four of these guys are going as assaulters. I don't remember which armor I had on them for this mission, but currently I have them equipped with the Raider vest. The reason I have them equipped with the Raider vest is because extended protection, it cuts the mobility down in half, and you kind of want them to go fast. And Assaulter vest just doesn't have the same um, mobility. It's a little bit better than the Raider vest because it has um, side armor, but it also slows down the operators. So I don't know which armor I have in that um, in that mission, but um, yeah, that's what I have equipped right now. Um, Sometimes, depending on the mission, I equip one of my operators with a breaching kit or a breaching blast. Depends on the mission, but usually I just have them go with 4 flashbangs each. So in a second here, we're gonna breach the interior and make our way to find the hostage. Now, I am pretty sure that when I was playing this, or at least when I accomplished this mission, um, which is the run through that you're seeing, I'm pretty sure that I already know where the hostage is. This was a little bit of while. This was a little while ago, so I don't remember exactly when what happened when I played this, but I'm pretty sure I knew where the hostage was going into it. Another thing is I tried a bunch of different breaches, and sometimes I would go through the doors on the top and the bottom here, and it just every time I tried a way other than this one, my operators ended up dying or the hostage ended up dying. So I just went with just going straight down the middle and sort of moving right and left from the center of the building. So we're gonna go ahead and breach the interior. We're not gonna use any flashbangs because that takes time. And here you see one of my guys getting injured because he had to reload his pistol. And this was the mistake that I mentioned earlier, which is you kind of have to really pause and pause and pause and pause because no real operator is gonna stand there and just get shot while he's reloading his pistol. And so while you may plan a route, let's say in a building, and it's sound in terms of CQB tactics, um, it's not sound in the reactions of these operators because in the game the operators will just keep going. They're not gonna stop. They're not gonna hide behind cover when they're getting shot at. It's not part of the game dynamics. So you have to do that for them. And so if your operator's getting shot, you kind of have to pause. So every time an operator turns the corner, you have to pause it and sort of check to see if he's getting shot. Because if he's getting shot, you have to hide him behind cover. And that's what I did in the game that I played, that I finished playing today, the mission that I started yesterday. So we finally get this tango down, and now you can see we have a clear route. Well, so it's not exactly clear. It's CQB sound, right? You have two operators going to this room, two operators going to that room, throw a flashbang before you enter, except for the fact that I forgot that these two operators here are passing by a, an open door now, and they can potentially get shot. And in previous attempts of this mission, I actually did end up losing this operator from that specific doorway. So I had to make sure to manually make him look in that direction. And that's another one of those things where you have to pause and play and pause and play, is because you have to make sure that your operators are covering their own asses because otherwise they won't. They'll just move in the direction that you put them. And if there's something in front of them, they'll shoot at it, but otherwise they won't. So you have to make sure that they're looking in the right directions at all times. And it's kind of an annoying and painful thing to do sometimes. But that's pretty much how you but that's how you win the game essentially. So I had to make sure that this operator is looking at that direction, otherwise he would get shot while they're throwing a flashbang in there. So we clear that room, and then once that room is cleared, these two operators go and move on to that next room, throw a flashbang in there, and oh, there's only one tango with all the hostages. Now, I made a massive mistake here. These two operators on the left are not covering their own six. Again, the same problem that I had that I keep having is these operators just won't make those decisions on their own. They are NPCs in a game. They don't have their own brain. And I keep forgetting that. So I keep forgetting to have them look in the right direction. Now, thankfully, neither of them died on this run of this mission, but that was because I had the sense of mind to grab this dude and point him in that direction that should have been covered by these two operators. Now, another thing that um, for some reason, I didn't even try to find out was um, the fact that I can bring hostages with me. Didn't know that even existed, so I had this soldier right here stay and cover these hostages so that they don't die while we're clearing the rest of the house. I did not know at the time that I can actually just take these hostages and get them to the rescue zone. But either way, it didn't make a difference really, because as you can see, we're getting rid of that tango, getting rid of that tango, getting rid of that tango. We see a few more hostages, and we got rid of the last tango, and then the game's over. So 3 stars, all good. All right, well, that was mission 17, Private Slaughter. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like. If you want to see more of these videos, make sure to subscribe. And if you have any ideas on new tactics, on strategies, on which weapons in the game that I could be using that might be better, or which armor, or how to set up, my assault team, feel free to leave a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video.